section for tech.
Yes, I'm Manish. Hi, I'm Pradeep.
And they are going to tell us all about flow motility. And we saw a little bit of it outside. So
Yes.
go ahead.
But I'll
Give
take
us
it from the
your
top.
pitch.
Flow Mobility is building robots for construction industry. As per industry estimates today, if all the running projects have to finish on time, you need 30% more people. There's a big dearth of labor. Even if labor is available, productivity is a challenge. And then the processes followed by construction industries are all outdated. They're still following the same processes what they were doing 15, 20 years ago.
And not just that, the number of suicides and incidents happening on ground are seriously alarming. And in construction industry has the maximum number of suicides happening on ground.
And that is what we intend to solve. Automate the risky backbreaking
Wait,
tasks.
you're stopping suicides from happening because you have robots?
Absolutely,
Yes.
because the back-breaking, risky task that the people do takes a toll on their mental health. There are deadlines to be finished. They work day and night, 16 hours, 20 hours in the day. The shifts are elongated. So much pressure, right, which causes this mental illness, and that's what leads eventually to suicide. So help the contractors build better, build faster, build easier by automating these risky, back-breaking, tedious tasks. So help. So we have already built our first product, which is a autonomous electric wheelbarrow. The entire market is almost $22 billion is the TAM, and we are planning to create a suite of products apart from the material movement product that we already have. A painting robot, a wall finishing robot, multiple robots will be making to help the contractors. Our current product is already deployed at large contractors like L&T,
So
Prestige.
your first robot is a dump truck.
Is a dump truck.
And what's next?
We are launching the wall finishing robots very soon by March 20.
What finishing?
Wall finishing robot. So once the walls are casted, you have to finish them to a putty or a gypsum or a different type of concrete mix.
So that then
which
it can
is
be painted.
It's a very manual task, very painstaking. Brick by brick, you have to actually go and make sure that it's completely smooth. The quality has to be maintained. It's a very meticulous task. You have to do it very, very carefully.
And at
so
the
all
same
those
time,
tasks,
it's very toxic as well because the components used
The
for
fumes.
as Manish said, it exerts very
you
dangerous.
inhale the fumes, and then the dust which comes, you inhale that dust, so it also has an impact on your health. So that is what we intend to do. We have already launched our product. It is being used by large customers in India. L&T,
So
PSP
how many
projects.
have you sold?
Around 22. 22 we have deployed till now.
22.
We don't sell
And
them.
how much do you sell each one?
We don't sell it. We put it on a monthly rental model.
Oh, how much do you rent it?
$600 is what we charge
In India.
Per month in India right now. We are operational at around 10 cities. Working with L&T is a large contractor, one of our biggest customers. And then, as Pratik already said, we have a roadmap of making the further robots beyond the current one.
And how much do you make
This-
the robots for? What does it cost?
So the cost of the robot is around $5,000. I think one of the best price to performance
So
ratios
payback's
globally.
less than a year.
Is less than a year. We intend to bring the cost down to $4,000, and this price per month would increase to $800 to $1,000 once you go to markets like US, which is where our payback would become 5 to 6 months, which is where the economies of scale kick in, and we are able to scale it very fast. So our current customers are getting 50 to 60% savings on cost as of today in the current case studies, and almost half the time is what it takes for them to do the work which earlier they were doing in a manual fashion. So that quickly brings me to the team. I'm one of the founders and doing startup for last 10 years. My previous startup was acquired by Reliance in 2018. That's when I met
Did
Pratik.
the
Both of us.
investors make money?
They got some multiple on there. I wouldn't say it was an astronomical exit.
No.
But
The answer is no. But
no, but you should ask them. Yeah. But we did create an
They
impact.
don't all make money. It's okay.
Yeah,
Good
but
that you fought the good fight. Sanjay, do you have some questions?
Yeah, I think going after India Plus. By the way, we are through our Bloom Discovery Fund. We are one of the investors. You see our name there. You see
Oh.
it on there. And you're going after a global market.
Yes,
absolutely.
India Plus.
Yes,
So how do you update your the go-to-market plan as you switch or expand from to a global use case? What changes? What stays the same?
Absolutely. So even in India, we have kind of got a playbook of channel sales. So we have these channel partners for every city. We are in 10 cities right now in India. Every city has a channel partner which takes care of the operations on the ground. And we would follow that same playbook when we go to Middle East and eventually to US, where we have system integrators or channel partners who will be taking care of putting the robot into customers' processes. I think that is the winning recipe as far as this business is
What are your
concerned.
roles in the business? Your CEO, your CTO?
Yeah, I take care of the product and the operations. Pratik takes care of the sales, go-to-market,
So
and as well
Pratik,
as the
what's your
product.
background?
So I've been working in the industry for the past 8 years. I have worked in electric drivetrains and I've also had the knack of the business all along. So basically making electric machines and selling them on ground is what I've been doing for the past 8 years.
This doesn't seem like it's too hard to do. I mean, don't you have a lot of competition creating robots that are dump trucks and
So the competition is
wall
way too less,
cleaners?
especially if you see in the global market, because of the fact that our major USP comes from the camera-based approach which we take, which gives us the best price to performance ratio. There are a few companies who are working on a few use cases, but then they are sticking to one particular use case. Like in US, there's a company working on painting robots which have started scaling their operations as well. In India, there are very few players in hardware construction robotics space in general. But what sets us apart from them is our ability to make, because of the modularity of our stack, where the core stack remains majorly same across different use cases. So we are able to make newer use cases with very minimal changes, and the learnings from the previous ones go ahead and add on top of it.
So basically, there are two parts, right? One is the mechanical, physical part that you see, and second is the software and AI. Mechanical people can still replicate, but AI is something which you cannot replicate. It's autonomous machine, right? You have to have cameras, you have to process the data, it has to navigate without bumping into anything. That's not something which can be copied or built easy. That's our USP.
You know, we sell to some of these customers. I see some names. It's very hard to sell to these customers. So what is it? What is the pitch? Is it savings on pricing? Is it safety? Is it? And who do you talk to within these organizations?
So we talk to head of PNMs, plant and machinery. All these customers at plant and machinery division. We talk to head of PNM. Our pitch is straight away simple because it's a monthly rental model. We just go and say, just put the machine on the field for 1 week. After that, if you're satisfied, we'll continue. Otherwise, not continue.
And the major
And
highlight
till
is-
now, none of the machines have come. So I think it's just show them, because I think the nature of automation is that if you just show it, you'll say this is a no-brainer, right? Today I'm using a 150 kg wheelbarrow which I have to manually pull in. I have something which is 500 kg payload, motorized. It's a no-brainer, right? I'm moving the same thing faster with less people. So just show them the impact, and that is something which has been really, I think, our way of bringing this adoption, because as you said, this is a very difficult industry to sell to. They really work on negative cash flows, and it's not something where you have, that's why they don't adopt technology very fast. But now they've reached a point where they realize that if you don't adopt the technology, you'll not be able to fulfill the timelines.
So wait, besides being picking up trash, in a wheelbarrow, what's the other thing it does with walls?
Wall finishing. So once the
Well,
walls
that's
are
their
casted,
next product.
Excellent.
Oh,
That's the next
The
product.
next product is a
Still,
wall
yeah.
finish,
Next one
like
which
a
we
sand.
Okay.
Yes. So hardware needs funds, right? So we are making it step by step. So first
Yeah.
product we have made, deployed, started getting revenue. It also validates the second problem statement. We are asking the customer, do you actually need this? Right? And we are getting a very solid validation that wall finishing is something which is a big pain today. They are saying just bring it. When can you bring it? Right? Painting and wall finishing are very painful, labor intensive.
Have you got any repeat customers, like they buy one and they go, oh, we gotta buy 6 of these?
They don't buy them.
Actually, all of them. We don't
Or lease.
rental. So we started L&T. L&T we started with 2 machines in April this year. Right now we already have 12 machines with them across six different projects. So in Bangalore they are building a data center. We have deployed this at an airport in Orissa. You're coming
Have
from
any of
Orissa.
them bought it and returned it?
One person in March last year when they bought it and then said, okay, this is not something which is, because it's a small project, they said this is not something which is giving us the complete value. Out of 16, one person has in that category. The rest all 15 have continued. So data
Sanjay,
centers.
you have a
airports.
question for your portfolio company?
I think you've chosen literally a hard problem to solve, building things. I think one of the questions is the secret sauce of the moat. Like when you get product market fit, what will become easier? How do you remove all this friction? Because there's a multi-product line, you're also going after multi-geographies, right? India now and then overseas. So what will you make really smooth? So just it
So-
scales like clockwork.
So 2 things which are really working in our favor. One is This industry is like that. Once they start adapting, they latch onto it. Right? Because everybody is doing 50, 60 projects. You demonstrate the value at one project and it just starts going to second, third, fourth, fifth project. Right? So scaling within a customer is something which is very easy. That is really, really helping us.
So land and expand within a.
Yeah, so land and expand within a particular account. That is something which is really working well for us. Channel partner strategy I already talked about. Third thing which I think very few people understand, which I think Flow Mobility has got right, is how do you go about building a hardware product? Building a hardware product can take 5 years also. Right? We have been able to build in 2 years, build and launch, all while raising less than $1 million, right? The secret sauce there is our ability to iterate very fast and do a very frugal innovation. I think that is something that we have been able to crack, and I think that will be our big USP for us. The way to scale is same code as Prateek said, keep adding more modules on top of it, keep scaling to more use cases, and then expand through channel partners with anchor customers in every job.
Well, terrific. Well, Manesh, thank you so much for being on the video. Great. All right. Okay, audience, what'd you think? What'd you think of Flow Mobility? All right. Started with polite applause and then picked up over time. Terrific. What did you guys think? Actually, Sanjay, tell us why you backed him. Was it your decision or was it like one of your?
Well, you know Sarika.
Yeah.
You have a Sarika, we have a Sarika.
There's nothing better than Sarika.
And this is from our Bloom Discovery Fund, Bloom Founders Fund. So, you know, hardware is hard. I'll tell you why. One of the reasons we backed it is feel that one of the biggest beneficiaries of new tech is actually industrial, is the old economy. The old economy will benefit the most from new tech. But it's hard. But we have examples, you know, we've had Grey Audit Robotics, we have Ati Motors, they all, you know, built in Bangalore, Gurgaon, and scale, so we like it. The challenge is that, you know, unlike a Z-Work, there are moving parts and it's like a service business, right? I mean, there could be problems with every plant, with every installation. It's not just like ordering something, you know, on Zepto. So, but we like, you know, Manish is a second-time founder, they have a history of working together, and the idea of the check was that, you know, you do a small check, you look at traction, and if it's post-PMF, you have, after PMF, you have, you see signs of breakout, then you double down, you know, from the fund. So, I think the founders are gritty and hardworking, and they're going after a tough and hard problem.
Yeah, the guy can sell, that's for sure. What do you think?
I think like I mentioned it as well, but eventually the market is probably overseas and not India. Indian customers, like for me, it's great that they have this early traction, but I'm not sure how big the market is eventually when they want to target just Indian clients. The mindset with a lot of Indian clients is we can do it ourselves and we can show it with more people who do it.
Yeah, we have lots of people.
Yeah, and hence I'm curious when they make the overseas move and how we have to adapt their business to that successful.
Yeah, Ollie, what do you think?
That's a good point. But I love the idea. I mean, what could be better? I thought it was a weird pitch starting with the suicide, stopping the suicide thing.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe was like, wait.
Is that a big,
Is that a
big thing here in India?
That
Oh, I'm seeing some nodding heads.
Yes.
The construction people are very depressed, overworked, something like that. In San Francisco, it's because they don't have jobs.
yeah.
But horrible. But I guess, you know, I guess they were trying to take us to another place instead of just saying, yeah, these are better robots. It's better to do robots here.
This is something that the world really.
Yeah. It was kind of a small dump truck.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe a big.
It's a wheelbarrow.
It's a big
It's
wheelbarrow
basically saying
or a
it's
small
yeah,
dump truck.
it's a big wheelbarrow. It's
And
definitely.
also going after, like you said, it started off with going after a unit growth.
Yes, right.
Starts off with that, but then of course ultimately it has to make money and it's a business.
Of course.
All right. With that, let's bring on our next entrepreneur. But before we do, let's see what's going on behind the scenes.
Can we get some water, Sarika? There is one. I thought that was the bottom of the glass. Thank you.
You got your spots there?
Right on top?
Over.
All right. You ready, guys?
Ready? Shall we get going?
Okay, we've got Toron and Arun, or the other way around.
You can go to two run.
To run.
Yeah.
I'm an Arun.
Arun from Toy Stack AI.
That's right.
Give us your pitch.
Great. So we're excited to present Toy Stack. It's a neo cloud platform that's going to simplify cloud usage. Our team has 3 accomplished engineers who built AI and ML
Wait,
applications.
that first slide said something about AWS.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
it?
I want to make it
Oh,
simpler
but
to understand what
simpler,
it is.
cheaper, and more intelligent.
Yeah.
Easy analogy.
So AWS, for our viewers, is where we store all this stuff in the cloud, and it's lots of data, and AWS sort of does load balancing, and they bring in, any startup can go use AWS,
Correct.
and they can, if one server gets overloaded, they can move to another server, another server, another server.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, it was all one server per company. So what you guys are doing, sort of the next level of that. So what is that?
Correct.
We'll get to it, but it's AWS for dummies. We do all the load balancing, all the auto scaling, but we'll get to it in 2 minutes. So the team has 3 accomplished engineers who built AI and ML applications at scale. They have patents to their name, and have also built a live data center. I'm an ex-investment banker from New York, complementing their technical expertise. Problem. So anybody deploying on AWS needs an expensive DevOps team. It takes days to weeks of configuration, and your cloud bill is quite obscene. With Toy Stack, that entire tooling is automated into a couple of clicks. You connect your application code to our platform, and in minutes you're on the cloud. So for a particular client, we've saved more than 50% of their people, time, and money cost. How do we do it? Right? So what we do is we host the application on a communal Kubernetes cluster, enterprise grade.
So explain what a Kubernetes
Yeah.
cluster is.
I'll give you the layman's perspective and I'll give you the technology
Yeah.
perspective. Layman's perspective, co-working space, right? So economies of scale, client wants to scale up, client wants only 1 cubicle, you scale down. They want the whole building, give them the whole building. Simplicity, but
Yeah, so
technically-
basically what happens is right now, when you go to AWS, I'm an engineer, I built Angels India, by the way. So when I go to AWS, the cognitive load is on me. I've got to decide what is the size of the computer I want, what is the storage I want, etc. But the problem is I'm always optimistic. I'm going to think, okay, next month I'm going to get 100,000 users, so I'm going to get the biggest system there is, right? It's going to be very expensive. Just to give you a perspective, the minimum that you can get is 0.25 CPU, is just a unit to measure it. The entire AngelList India sits on 0.15 CPU. That's all it consumes, right? But people go there and say, no, I want 8 CPU, 16 CPU, because they expect a huge traffic. They're like, okay, let's buffer this up. Right? There's a huge pricing difference there. So what we've done is basically said, okay, cool, just give us your app. Don't talk about what is the compute, etc. We'll figure out a way to scale it up. Tomorrow we have 10,000 users, we'll figure it out. If it needs to come down, we'll do it. So basically, by just switching the size, which AWS does offer, by the way.
Right, I was
But-
gonna say,
but-
this is just like,
No, they don't do it for you just like that. You gotta hire a DevOps team that does that. So what happens right now, suppose I need to set up a tech team, so what I do
I
is
see, AWS says you have to buy this much.
correct.
And that's what you get, and
So
if you
you-
don't need that much, too bad.
Yes, so he'll charge you for your consumption, overall booking that you've done, reserve that you've done. But there are ways to kind of auto scale a few things here and there, but it still turns out to be more expensive.
Would AWS, after you've done this, look and go, well, we better offer that too, and you just become a feature on AWS?
No. So what we've done is basically, so everybody offers Kubernetes, but what we've done is we've built a lot of stuff into it. So because we've run a data center before, right? So what we've understood is, for example, AWS, if you go to data transfer, the cost is substantial. But if you pick up OVH Cloud, or you pick up E2E that they've invested in, or you pick up Data Samudra that we're trying to tie up with, they have a zero cost for data transfer.
right? So the thing is, people do not realize that the only reason you wouldn't go to a data center tomorrow is because there is no API, there is no tooling for that. So what we've done is built the tooling for connecting to these micro clouds, private clouds first of all. Second thing, what we've done is we've figured out what is the right technology to scale up and down. In fact, we've hit the limits
So
of
are you
mainstream.
your main customers is gonna be small and medium-sized businesses?
At this point in time, yes.
And you're going to say, hey, it's easier, get on, it'll end up being cheaper for you.
Way cheaper. It'll be way cheaper for them, and they do not
Like
have.
by half or a
So
third?
there are three cost components. One is engineers. Even if you get AWS tomorrow, you need to hire these DevOps engineers who configure AWS for you, right? You eliminate those engineers, A. The second thing you eliminate is the time it takes to go from 0 to 1, right? So most products, most companies don't want to waste time, so they can get there in like a 2 minutes.
So you're estimating $1,000 per month turning to $20 per month?
Absolutely. We've
That's
done this for a
considerable.
customer already. That's the reason I put that here. So,
And that customer, who is that customer?
so it's called Budget ICU. What they do is they stream video feeds from hospital beds to the administrative centers. They have an app, so you can see the patient.
So they can
Time
see the
use.
patient,
Correct.
and are they gonna operate on the patient from there?
No,
or-
no, no. Just
They're
to see
communicate.
your family's in the hospital bed, you can see them, right?
The doctor and
Their
ICU.
traffic is probably for 4 hours in the day. The rest of the time, nobody even opens the app, right? So they were on a $1,000 AWS bill. Just moving to us, they went to 20 initially.
What does it cost you to
I
deliver
would
something
say-
that's $20 a month?
So it costs us roughly about $15 for this right now.
Well, that's
for that
not a very
$20.
big margin.
It is not right now.
25%.
So as we start.
But if you get that much room between $1,000 a month and $20 a month, why are you charging $20?
Right now they're at
a month?
120, by the way. So we did charge them for extra other stuff, right? So basically, the more features you get, right, you can price them up a little more, right? So the thing is, at the end of the day, the hook is the fact that we can make it simple for you. But then pick this, pick that, and then slightly gets expensive, but it'll never go to the range of an AWS. And AWS is like a hardware store. You walk in, you gotta buy the hammer, nails, everything. But you just walk in, do a toy stack, and then connect.
Do you have a question? And would you use them?
We'd love to
That's
work
what
with
I
you.
would like to understand. Do your best customers eventually don't need you because they grow big and they can do this?
No, so we integrate AI. So for example, the platform's built. So just prior to this, we built a AI healthcare company where we run AI models, and it's a $500,000 revenue.
What happened to that one?
It's still there. We just reseeded out because it's become more of an ops thing. So now we're starting something else.
So are you gonna do the same thing to your investors with this?
Not with
You
this
can
idea.
just bail?
Not as long as I'm around.
No, but we co-founded that company. then.
You're an investment banker, you see that there's a big market at AWS, right?
There
Is that
is.
what's going on?
Yes. So it is a massive market,
And it's global.
Yeah, and so I think we'll get to the vision in a bit. The
But
timing,
when you get bored,
we don't get bored.
what are you gonna do?
We have 10 other products that we've come up with based on the same deployment
This
cloud.
is
But
an ocean. The cloud is an ocean. There's so many
many
interesting
problems.
things to do. We have so many interesting AI problems within this that we've solved already.
And the last company didn't have that much interest for you?
No, so basically that company was an AI healthcare company where it's more ops heavy. So we're basically our clientele are healthcare clients. So what they do
What
is
does ops heavy mean?
right. So basically India is the back office for US healthcare companies. So what they do is say there's handwritten test reports. They come to India.
All
And
the
then people in India
administration.
basically convert it into digital form and then put it into healthcare websites, right? So what we did, by the way, I was doing my PhD in machine learning. I quit that, come back into a startup. So basically, what we did was we developed these AI models that will basically simplify that and reduce the workforce by about 70%. So we can take on more clientele, right? So now we have a 20-30 people team there. It's doing phenomenally well, but now it's basically a copy-paste job. There isn't much. It's mostly ops. You get salespeople, get more clientele. Salespeople get more clientele.
Sanjay, any question?
Yeah, it's an interesting problem. You talked about E2E.
Yeah.
That's one of our companies. Tim, this is a company that we sold too early.
Yeah.
It's rocking right now,
Yeah.
and my colleague Arpit has tweeted about it. And then we had a company earlier called Minjar, which was acquired by Nutanix. Now Vijay is building atomic work. The question, the comment rather is, it's a large time, but it seems there are lots of others also going after the space. is the is the USP like a feature set? Like I think Tim asked the same question. You know, is this a feature or does this become a full product suite?
Yeah.
Right?
So
How do you? And also, I saw you have client in Papua New Guinea.
yeah. So the government of Papua New Guinea uses ToyStack for their application.
How does that happen?
How does that happen?
I'm sure the investment banker was involved. But
So basically through a network connection, we met the guy who actually does all the work over there, an Indian company that builds the software, and he was just struggling with the deployment, the cloud, the cost, the servers.
How big does this become, and how do you all stay like ahead of the tech as well?
Yeah.
And also, is this? I guess this is India plus global.
It is global,
You're
yeah.
based in Bangalore.
So I'll just do the
Yeah.
traction slide for a second. So we started off with the product-led growth motion, spent very little money on digital ads. We got 9,000 users.
3,000 in a month though. We
Yeah.
went viral because somebody just made a video about
So that's
it.
9,000
Oh,
people
that's
paying
all
$20 a month?
No, this was on the free plan, right?
Oh, free.
Yeah. So we would basically
You're
want
trying
to
to
validate
get
the
people
product.
used
Yeah,
to it.
yeah. The cool thing over here was at one point we had at least one user in 100 different countries. Your Google Analytics map was just
Have
lighting
you
up.
done a conversion to paid for anybody yet?
So we put in a payment gateway. That conversion had a lot of friction. So we will continue the product-led growth to create awareness amongst devs. But we started our sales journey with corporate customers. We've got about 10 right now and growing that. We've also seen what's happened with product-led growth companies like Postman, Hasura, right? We met those founders, met those VCs. They went to 1 million users, right? But the conversion to paying corporate to get to that $1 million in ARR was a struggle. So it's important to validate your paying customers, your corporate customers that can give you that $10, $50, $100,000 a month. The last aha moment, I want to do this slide. So with AI, ChatGPT, Claude, almost anybody, including you, can develop an application, a website.
Even you.
No, I hear him. I hear him.
Yeah,
He
this
is
Claude and
on money
ChatGPT is
because
incredible,
I'm like,
right?
what the hell
But
are they talking about?
deploying it to the cloud
It's still
is
big.
is hard.
Big.
Yeah, it's hard. Security issues, a whole host of issues. So Arun and the team, Mukachan, are developing a one-line script where once you get the application from Claude, you type in deploy ToyStack, it's on the cloud.
So more importantly, the thing is the next generation of coders are going to have even less patience. So when AWS came in, a lot of people who did not know how to set up servers suddenly started building product companies. But then now the same moment's kicking in where people are going to generate more apps using AI. And then the biggest complexity, the last frontier of complexity right now is DevOps, right? So if we can solve that, all these people can move to the cloud much faster. And there is a moat, I just want to quickly just tell you, there is a moat because every person who deploys a ToyStack, we're figuring out, using intelligence of course, how to deploy it better. So next time we see somebody, we actually do a much better job of deploying it. And also, we basically tell them, hey guys, you've not used this CPU in the last 1 month. Why are you wasting this much amount of compute? So we kind of downgrade them to a cheaper plan, and we kind of guide them through that process, right? So they can see in the dashboard that, you know what, this CPU's consumption is so low. Why am I paying so much? They can downgrade. Same with logs. If they see a failure, somebody it crashes, the system crashes, our AI kicks in and says, you know what, in the last 1 hour, this is what happened, right? So these kind of things add up, and that creates the large moat.
Why not just charge them by usage?
That's precisely something that I didn't put on this slide because there'd be too many things to say, but nobody does that. Nobody charges by usage.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, great. Huge. Very nice.
So initially, we were very,
You gotta
sorry,
accept that.
I was very pessimistic. I mean, three of us were very pessimistic initially, 4 of us, sorry. We thought this will just be used as a toy project and it'll be for like internal consumption. But then after we got our first few customers using it, they were like, hey, can we use this for real use cases? And so we just kept the name because it seemed interesting.
Kind of fun. Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
thought
it
for
was a
sure
toy.
it'd be something about toys.
But Ronnie, you know, a lot of people have told us, change this name, corporate clients, we're not going to take you seriously.
Yeah.
And we said, you know what, it's going to stick. If you can
Hey,
buy
baby,
Apple
from
Apple computer.
Thank you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
But you
Steve
know what I was-
Jobs said, Apple, if nobody in this room can come up with a better name than Apple Computer by midnight, we're using Apple
That's
Computer.
I'll see if I can remember it. But what I was thinking is that you guys were really so clear in your presentation that a person like me who knows none of this stuff was actually able to understand
Thank you.
sort of the gist of what you're doing. But when I read your mission statement, I couldn't even get through the first sentence. ToyStack is a neo-cloud platform that simplifies application deployment by embedding DevOps functionality directly within its cloud solution.
That was
That's
not
a load-
written-
that's a load
That was
balancer
not
also.
written by the investment banker.
I want to get load balancers
That
and all
was
this.
written by the investment
It
banker.
was?
Yeah, but the thing is, he drives us to make it simpler because he doesn't understand tech so well. So he keeps asking us, "Can you tell us in a simpler way? Make me understand. Make me understand." So that's how we've gotten
Can
better.
we get
Yes.
it in an even simpler way?
Yeah, I wanted to make it as simple as possible.
That's the example.
Yeah.
I wanted it
That was-
Simpler,
yeah.
cheaper, and more
Yeah,
intelligent.
this is
AWS.
what I wanted to kind of get
Yeah.
across. So.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. What did the audience think of ToyStack AI?
Yeah, I think it's a neat concept. Yeah, I just want to understand more about it. Is it saving me money, or is it making me more productive? Is it a one-time thing or do I need it multiple times? That's something that.
I think you have to keep using it because it's keeping your data, just the way AWS.
Yeah, but I think the key, the way it was articulated was we deploy code faster into the cloud. Once we figure that out, do we need a repetitive use case, or do we just write off on the first time?
Oh, I'm not sure I understand.
I guess as a software developer, there's a learning curve involved in getting the AWS configurations right first time.
Right.
But the second time, you're basically leveraging the work you did the first time and.
Oh, so you only have to do it one time. And here they're saying it's too complicated and everything. And so if you use AWS, maybe it's just that one-time cost, and after that, it's cheap.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What'd you think?
So, I think one of your question at the end was very interesting. The summary was very clear, crisp, like a tagline, a mission, and then you kind of get lost in this description. So, I think, there was clarity of thought. I think it is a very large space, and it is, there is huge opportunity, but it's also a very crowded space. So I think this is going to require a deeper dive into the product and tech. It seems like it's a strong tech team. They've done that before. They roll up their sleeves and they program. I think when I looked at the metrics, this is for the PLG, product-led growth, building the dev community is important. But can you? I didn't see. Maybe I didn't see a measure of retention, which is really important because you can build the community, you get the product out there, but how many retain, how many pay, how many keep coming back, because that's your conversion ratio is important. Can you sign up? What will it take to get it enterprise ready? When do you get it in the hands of the network? When will their IT team start using it? There's a lot to cover, but I would love to see.
But Zetworks, that's a big company.
Yeah.
A smaller or medium-sized company might just sort of go, "Hey, $20 a month, I can use this. It's simple."
But what happens once they become big? I guess that's the problem.
And
Yeah,
so
but these guys will have to evolve.
Yeah.
Just the way. Yeah.
And yes,
There's
how
a lot of
big can-
consultants also who work in the market.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of-
So a little more go to market. How do you go direct? When you work with consultants, how big can this become standalone? Does it just get folded into AWS or does somebody else get it? But I think it's an interesting problem. There's definitely a big problem they're solving, and but there are definitely others trying it, right? So how do you get ahead of the competition faster?
Yeah. Holly, what do you think?
My opinion is kind of invalid.
Actually,
Yes.
not really, because your question about the name gave me a better sense for what this is. It's like we just started it out as a toy,
Yeah.
and now everybody's buying it.
Right.
I mean, that's the way Apple Computer was started. That's the way
Yeah.
a lot of really great businesses were. Facebook was hot or
But aren't they fitting into a
not.
space that already? I mean, they're basically saying we'll whittle down the price from what this space is because we'll let you know how much thing you're using, right? You
Yeah.
know what they're saying, we'll let you,
It'll-
we'll
it'll
do
go
it
up
without
and
even
down
telling
with
you.
how much
You
you
don't have to buy all that
use.
extra
Right.
stuff, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll go up and down with how much
So I
you use.
think-
It's like, you know.
Good, why not get the, I would buy it. I don't
All
know what
right.
I'd use it for, but I would buy it.
I don't think you'd buy it.
He told me I would.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
true.
said even I
Yeah,
would
look,
not,
if you
would
end up
find
buying
an
it, we got
application.
it's a major
No,
winner
you know,
here.
he said something about ChatGPT, so I thought, okay, I get ChatGPT,
Yeah,
so I
oh,
would
it's
buy
pretty
that.
amazing. All right, with that, let's bring on our next entrepreneur. Well, wait a second, what did all of you think of Toy Bicycle?